Hello, I'm Interweb Studios and today we ask Reddit what is the craziest things that has happened to you. In my opinion, some of these stories are absolutely crazy, so make sure to stick around until the end. Let me know if you want me to make a part 2 to this video, and with that, sit back and enjoy. I was on a plane with a wanted terrorist. I was seated 5 rows ahead of Faisal Shahzad, the Times Square bomber, on a flight to Dubai. The doors were closed and we never left the gate, and the captain kept making announcements, excuses as to why we were delayed. After nearly 3 hours of sitting there, the federal agents rushed the plane and marched that little shit off the plane. Edit. S. This happened 12 years ago and my memory has failed me, so. 1. The plane did taxi away from the gate and returned, apparently. Many of you have made that clear. 2. I am not certain why it took 3 hours, but I suspect it was to evacuate the terminal. 3. Some of you object to the word rushed. Really? The law enforcement officers did not amble or saunter onto the plane, they were in a hurry, in my opinion. 4. After the suspect was removed, all passengers deplaned. When I made it to the terminal, there were hundreds of law enforcement officers, NYPD, FBI, ICE, transit police, etc. The flight crew and reps from Emirates Air were fantastic. Accommodations were made for everyone who did not want to get back on the plane. All our luggage was removed and scanned, searched, and we had to claim our bags under the supervision of many, many eyes. I got back on the plane, got airborne, made my connection in Dubai, but my luggage did not. Emirates Air had it delivered to my hotel the next day. Funny enough, my uncle is the reason the feds got on that plane. He and my aunt were in NYC to see Green Day's American Idiot, and after the show decided to walk around Times Square. He had a camcorder running when a guy ran past him very fast and looking like he was up to no good. Fast forward a few hours and they're at home outside of Philly watching the news when the failed bombing was reported. They both look at each other with an eyebrow raised. He checks the tape and there's a full-on clear image of the sprinter's face. They call the FBI and tell their story. Within 45 minutes feds are at the house, watch the tape, and ask to have it. Not too long after Guy was in custody. I, American, was visiting the UK for the first time. I got to my hostel and started chatting with the Australian guy in the bed above mine. When I mention where I'm from, he says there's a famous restaurant there he really loves and goes to with his family every time they visit. Turns out it was a place I used to work. He says, "Hey, I have a picture of our server from the last time I was there. Maybe it's someone you know." It was me. Sometimes the world is truly a small place. This crazy story reminded me of a time I was hitchhiking home from the Baltic Sea, 7-hour drive from my hometown, and the guy who stopped was our next-door neighbor. I have a childhood friend who lives in Northern California and travels a lot. I live in Southern California and rarely travel. Several years ago I got to go to New York and had tickets to see Hedwig and the Angry Inch. I saw that she had posted that she was on her way home from Romania, was stopping for one night in NYC, and had a ticket for the same show, same night as me. We got to meet up afterwards for dinner and it was so cool. I opened my wallet to show my friends I had no money, and a moth flew out of it. I couldn't even imagine how hard I'd laugh at that. That's great. Bro. When I was in elementary I was very disorganized, so my backpack was always full of clutter. My mom called me out on it one day, and I told her, "I promise it's clean," and as I opened it to show her, a duck and moth flew out. LMAO. A memory I will never forget. LMAO. In 2013 I received a notice from my college that my low GPA from the previous semester made me ineligible for financial aid the following semester. It was my last term in grad school and the college was threatening to drop me from all classes if I didn't pay tuition within 72 hours. I went to drown my sorrows at a bar later that night and I met a stranger and we started talking. I told her my story and she offered to pay my tuition. I told her I didn't accept loans from strangers, but she said it was a gift. Turns out she was a very wealthy CEO and that night she wrote me a check for $2,500. I paid my tuition, finished school, and we still keep in touch. That's freaking awesome. I want to be loaded one day so I can give money away like this. I thought the following comment was quite cool, so I have put the link in the description if you want to check it out. There's a website where you can loan money to people in developing countries who need it to start their business or even go to school. It's like $25 and they usually pay it back over a year or two, or you can donate, I think. It's sort of cool to do it, and if they pay you back you find someone else to loan it to. Edit. www.kiva.org. I had a beater car in college. It was an ancient Plymouth, made mostly out of duct tape and rust. I had all of my college books in it. Just kept them there. Easier for studying. Go out to my car and grab what I need. Engineering books, too. So super expensive. Someone stole my car out of my driveway with all my books in it. Police report, all that. No joy. I was heartbroken. How in the world could I do my homework? How could I continue the semester? I was totally ducked. My mom offered to take me to school that day. I was just ruined. I had no hope. No idea how I would get by. And on ramp on the way to school, there she sat. I just happened to notice her as we were driving by. The old girl chose that exact moment to throw her transmission. When the thief was out joyriding it around and tried to get on the freeway. And I just happened to notice it sitting there. All my books were still in it. You just don't get that kind of loyalty with a car anymore. She sacrificed herself in just the right spot so I'd see her and get my books back. I'll always love that car. Godspeed, you old boat. Was going to see a concert with some friends. Printed my ticket at home. This was before mobile tickets were ubiquitous. We all decided to meet at a bar about a mile from the venue, then walk over after a few drinks. Have our drinks and some food and head to the venue. When we get there, I suddenly realize I don't have my ticket on me. Panicked, I run back to the bar. Check my car in the parking lot, nothing. Head inside the bar, check the table we were at, look everywhere. No ticket. Bummed and dejected, I leave the bar and begin to trek back to the venue to let my friends know I can't go with them. While I was waiting at a crosswalk, the wind blows a bit, and with it, a sheet of paper floats past me and comes to a stop on the sidewalk. I reach down, pick it up, and it's my goddamn printed ticket. One of the best days of my life. I had something similar happen to me. While waiting in line for a playoffs game at Fenway, I realized I no longer had my ticket. We had been drinking at a bar a few blocks away and it was a chilly October night, so there were lots of times for me to lose it while jostling around my gloves, hat, scarf, and coat. As the line continued to advance, I frantically searched all my coat pockets but to no avail. Then just as I was about to give up near the gate, I discovered a ticket on the ground, with seats next to my friends. By dumb luck, my ticket blew up further up in the line with me, and no one else found it and sold it. I'm a medic and firefighter. We once had a call for something normal, like chest pain or something, I can't remember. The caller said he was in his barn, garage, which isn't weird really around here. Anyway, we pull up on scene and something just felt off. No idea why, but something just told me in my gut that something was wrong. I decided to do a 360 around the building before we went through the door at the front that was clearly the entrance. I walk around and come to a window on the side of the building and look in. There was a shotgun rigged to the door. The guy had set a booby trap for us. And he had hung himself as well. We kicked in this plexiglass type material on the side of the building and entered that way. Guy was dead. Nothing we could do about it at that point. I would have been the first through that door. No idea why I didn't just walk through it that day. Man, that's crazy. My EMT instructor told us to always trust our guts when arriving on a scene. It's easy to miss something consciously, but if something feels off, there's usually a reason for it that your brain hasn't consciously registered. I've been a medic for a long time now, but I'll always remember going on a training shift with a bomb squad guy. He was a crazy person, but he told me, always look for the turtle on the fence post. Out in rural areas you'll occasionally see a turtle on a fence post. It's weird, but I saw it often enough that I never thought about it. But then he explained, a turtle doesn't get on a fence post unless someone puts it there. He was telling me to look at every scene and really look at what couldn't have gotten there without someone putting it there. That's where the danger usually comes from. Those are the subconscious cues that give you the gut feelings, and they're generally right. In college, I was chilling with some friends, doing homework and hanging out, when I got an email from my grandma. She had been really into genealogy lately, and had found some distant branches of the family tree. She was letting me know she discovered that I had a third cousin who attended the same college as me. Well, not only did I know the guy, he was actually sitting right beside me as I read the email. I jumped up and shouted, "Dude, you're my cousin." And that's how the guy one chair over got upgraded from friend to family in 2 seconds flat. When I first went to college, I found that the last name of one of my dorm mates matched a fairly uncommon family name of mine, so we compared notes. Turned out that he was my 8th cousin, twice removed. Our common ancestors were brothers back in the late 17th century. As I was reading this, I was fully expecting you to say it was your boyfriend or girlfriend. No biggie. My parents are third cousins, and it didn't affect me. Didn't affect me. One of my friends was a social worker. She was blind. She had gotten divorced during graduate school. When she got divorced, I took over caring for her computer and for her seeing eye dog. Several years later, she started dating this guy, and told him about me. Among other things, I had a colorful, unique, unbelievable Air Force career. So when she introduced me to this guy, he told me that she had talked about me a lot, and that he had been a Navy SEAL. A few months later, one of her colleagues from work asked me what I thought about her dating a former SEAL. I didn't really think about what I was saying. I just said, "Oh, he was never a Navy SEAL." She said, "Why do you say that?" I said, "He's too stupid to have ever been a SEAL." She mentioned what I said to my blind friend's parents. They were already uneasy about this guy. They engaged a private detective. He engaged the police. The police engaged the FBI. Turned out this guy was wanted in connection with the murder of a New Jersey state police officer. He found out that it was my comment that set all this in motion. He phoned me and threatened to kill me. The FBI had a tap on my phone for over a year. He never called back. I don't know if there were any developments in that case. That was 30 years ago. My blind friend is doing fine. And with that, I hope you enjoy the video. If you did, don't forget to like, subscribe and comment if you want a part 2. Until next time.